Uh, it seems Nesma didn't notice.
Right, is my audio any better now?
It sounds good for... Okay, Nesmond had a really long delay.
And he's off.
Am I very quiet?
So we're starting off this race with the lantern, which is a pretty good item to find early on. This is kind of indicating that we're going to have to be heading over to Temple of Droplets. Okay, my PC died again. Oh god.
Okay, is my audio any better now?
Hey, we can hear you now. So, what is going on in the race? Everyone would like to know what is happening. Can you hear me at all? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool.
It's me echoing through you.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. The echo sounds like it's fixed. Or, no, it's still slightly. Anyway, so the race.
Alright, that's good. Yes, so how are our racers getting on?
Well, currently, both racers have found the first Cloud Top Skin Stone, their first sword, along with Spin Attack and the Lamp. And
Well, the first sword is great to be finding this early on. You don't want to be going for half an hour without finding a sword.
we get many seeds where a sword will not be found for half an hour to an hour if you're really unlucky.
And yeah, so my PC is completely dead. It is it's not even powering on, so I am completely blind for this.
Wow.
I've come to the last resort, and I'm turning on my PlayStation 4 to try and load up Twitch through the app there, and just be really delayed.
We're definitely not having any tech issues at all.
No, this is the most organized stream there's ever been on speed gaming. The most organized race we've ever had with the Minish Cap community. We're not starting an hour after we were supposed to. We're exactly on time. So do we know what the dungeon requirements are? What elements are available to get?
I don't know. Tech stuff. I've missed a few things, but Nesmond
I
just
thought
found.
I saw someone pick up a water element in a chest.
What?
I thought I saw Hayden pick up a water element in a chest, which was bizarre. I'm not sure if that was actually a thing.
Well, elements are not shuffled, so it shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Maybe I just missaw.
No zero. There cannot be an element in a chest as a trap. Elements
I see where everyone
perhaps
is
can't
now.
look like.
I have the stream up.
Okay.
Oh, Nesma picked up the cape.
Cape is one of the most important items in the entire randomizer. It gives you access to most areas immediately, and it also just kind of breaks the game. Myth, are you muting your mic when you're not speaking?
Yes.
Strange.
You're getting feedback. That is super weird. Is that any better?
It sounds like it. Nope, never mind.
So bizarre.
Hayden now picking up the cape. From how it looks, Hayden is just following behind Nesma. Nesma is
Okay,
also
I've
found
activated
Ocarina.
push to talk to try and alleviate this issue. How is that?
We will see if it's good or not. And it sounds
Okay,
like
we just got a element check from Hayden.
Oh. What was it? I looked over at Nesma at the time.
It looked like Haver Flames and Fortress of Winds are not required dungeons. All of the other dungeons are required.
Oh. That is... So, in this randomizer, there are 6 dungeons where elements can be placed. And Fortress of Winds, which is in the bottom left, and House of Winds in the top right, are the hardest 2 to get to, because they require many kinstones.
Nesman also picking up the Ocarina, another really important mobility item. Is gonna let him traverse the overworld much faster.
Having the Ocarina makes many calls much easier, as well as, since Cave of Flames isn't required, it's now safe to go up there and not dip until later.
Hayden's in the vicinity as well, so they're going to be heading over to Lake Hylia and be picking up their Ocarina as well. Oh, Hayden has already got his Ocarina.
Yes, just now picking it up.
Yeah, having the lantern, cape, ocarina, and sword is just instantly telling you go to Temple of Droplets. Go immediately there. That is where your progression.
Especially since they are currently at their second sword, it's very common to find the third sword, which you need to beat Temple of Droplets in Droplets itself.
Yeah, absolutely. The next sword they're going to get is the red sword, and that's the first one which lets you clone, and you need to create at least one additional clone in Temple of Droplets to be able to complete the puzzles to get to the boss of the dungeon. However, every other chest that is located in the dungeon can be reached without having to do any clones.
Yes, and Nesma currently doing chickens, because you do chickens. It's just what you do.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to put off doing the Cuckoo game. It's not as long as everyone thinks, and it's not as difficult as everyone thinks as well. It just takes a little bit of practice, and then you can get good at it.
That white cuckoo can be troublesome.
Oh, Hayden's going to be wishing that there was he had flippers right now, so he could do the sequence break and check all of those boot checks in Lake Hylia.
And Nesma getting his first bomb bag from chickens.
bomb bag is another really important item you want to be finding early on within the first 20 minutes.
It opens up... Really, everything Cape doesn't open up is opened by bombs. So, they're already like 1 or 2 items away from being able to get to most places in the overworld. Yes, there are Swiftblade. I don't think either of them gone to. Currently has 3 checks out of the 4.
Hey Arrow, how's it going? Yes, we are all up and running, and we are getting this race moving. You know what could actually happen? This could be a bottleless race.
Yes, that is entirely possible. So, the bottles, despite normally being an extremely useful item in most Zelda games, only unlock one area and then like 1 or 2 other checks. The 2 optional dungeons are Cave of Flames and Fortress of Winds.
So the items we're looking for our races today are going to be all of the Cloud Topkin stones, the boots, the grip ring, the graveyard key, the bow, and the gust jar and the. So this game has 6 dungeons in it. It has, it also has 4 elements. So these 4 elements are randomly distributed between these 6 dungeons. So 2 of the dungeons don't have an element as their reward, which makes them optional dungeons. This is similar to pendant dungeons or stone dungeons in Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past.
One of the more unique things about this randomizer is the optional dungeons don't altogether lock one item, so it's much rarer to have an all dungeon seed, though we have had it once.
Yes, we do get the occurrences where a sword will be on one of the bosses that is not required.
Perhaps even a 4-sword on Octo?
Yes, I believe that's happened once before, where we've had a Temple of Droplets with Octo as the boss of Temple of Droplets, having the last sword, whilst also not being required.
And there is the 3rd sword. At this point, Nesmond can go beat Temple of Droplets.
Oh, Nesmond was slightly unhappy there. He was about to start slashing at Bellari with the sword he picked up. Oh, where is Nesmond going?
Oh, it looks like he's going to check the Vale Falls. There is 2 items he can get there. And one is a bottle. Yes, could be a bottle. And it is. This rando has been a thing since August, I believe.
Yeah, at the beginning of August, this randomizer got released in version 1. We're now on version 0.5.6, and we should be having 0.5.7 coming out fairly soon. We have a release candidate that's floating around, but currently we're just using the most recent release for the rate.
Now Nesmond is heading to do droplets, and it looks like Hayden is also going to go there.
Yes, I absolutely love this play. With the items they have right now, Templar Droplets is absolutely the play right now. Yeah, 0.5.7 soon, TM.
One important thing to note about this dungeon is they cannot get all the items here. There are 2 items that are locked behind the Gust Jar.
And an addition, well, there's 3 items locked behind the Gust Jar, and an additional one locked behind the Flippers.
Mm.
They also have the Blue Chew boss that they can't do without the Gust.
We don't like to think about Blue Chew.
So the beginning of this dungeon is completely vanilla. You will always be given a small key, which will then open this ice block area over here, which will have the big key. Yes, because Nesmond has his red sword, it means that he has a high enough level sword so that he can create clones and do the puzzles in this dungeon to get to the boss and be able to beat Octo. Unfortunately, Hayden doesn't have a sword, the red sword yet, so they won't be able to create clones and finish the dungeon. They'll have to come back later, or be lucky and find a sword in here.
There is the Gust Jar. Nesmond can now full clear the dungeon, except for one item that he may or may not find out what it is without going.
So due to a peculiarity about how the logic works in this dungeon, all of the key doors are in parallel, which means you can open any of the key doors in any order, which means that there are no keys behind any of the key doors. Which means that you can easily count where all of your keys are from the checks that are in logic before all of these key doors. One of them is an underwater item, and if you have all of your, if you check everything else other than that underwater check, and you're missing one small key, you know where that last small key is. Also, you don't actually need to open all of the key doors to be able to get everything in the dungeon. 2 of the key doors open the same area, so you can just use one key to open one of those doors, which makes that 3 keys are all you need to open everything in the dungeon.
Yes. Later on, there is a point where 2 paths cross, and with the cape, you can skip over to the other path. And that is put into well, that is not in logic, but key logic is a little weird here. Yes, Four Sword can be in Dark Hyrule Castle. It hasn't happened yet.
Yet. But there is one chest in Dark Hyrule Castle which doesn't require the Four Sword to reach, and that's the pedestal chest, which is it holds the map in the vanilla. Yes, also Dark Hyrule Castle has one non-dungeon item out of all of its chests. Every other chest is either a key or map or compass. Both of our runners have decided to, or have opted to avoid doing the Blue Chew fight currently.
They didn't have a key when they walked by the door.
Yeah, I slightly agree with their decision. They can wait to do Blue Chew until they've finished the dungeon, and then they'll know if Blue Chew has a item or not.
And we now know Nesbin can get all the items in the dungeon. There's now one key left, and only one check left that can have it.
Yeah, this seed could be a flipperless seed because the sunken pot does 100% have a small key. So that's an item that they don't need to go and collect.
Yeah. The logic, however, will still expect them to get the flippers.
Our races are absolute neck and neck through this dungeon. This is pretty incredible.
They're practically at the same heart count, too. So, an interesting thing about this randomizer is that heart containers and heart pieces matter. There is a check, a wave blade I believe, where you need 10 hearts to be able to get their item.
Yep, if you have less than 10 hearts, you're going to be wanting to pick up every single heart piece or heart container that you see, because if Waveblade has something that requires exactly 10 hearts, you can't afford to be skipping any heart piece. Also, if you have 10 hearts, you're pretty safe for the rest of the game as well. This isn't a particularly difficult Zelda game once you get used to it, so if you have 10 hearts, you're going to be fairly safe.
Oh! That book is very interesting. So, the books, there are 3 books in the game, blue, green, and red. I do not remember their actual names. And yes, the cabin is a trap, because that was because there's only one blue book.
Well, I guess Vati is a pretty difficult Zelda boss, actually, but Vati 2 is just a bit of a troll, really.
Yeah. Normally, racers tend to not have any trouble with Vati, or Vati will waste 5 minutes.
The way I like to route Temple of Droplets as well is I would have done this fight, what the racers are doing right now, before they did all of that lily pad section. And then when they got to the Madapillar fight, once they get that big chest there, then they can just quick warp and then go through the blue warp to get to the spot that they're at now. Yeah, Georg's Cycle 3 is the boss that control you the hardest. If it decides to just fly into you every time, there's not much you can do.
And now we see Hayden likely leaving, while Nesma will stay and complete the dungeon.
Oh, Hayden was debating going and fighting the Blue Chew just now, but they're opting to leave.
We do know that there is an item on Blue Chew. We've already seen the map and compass for the dungeon.
Yeah, this is completely personal choice right now, whether or not you want to do Blue Chew, because Blue Chew is guaranteed an item, but it's not guaranteed a good item. It can still have couch cash or bombs or something like that. That's completely not neat.
Or just a trap that gets your hopes up. Yes, Ghost Jar was very nice. Unfortunately, the racers do not have a way into Deep Woods yet. They need to either find the Flippers or the Jabbernutt.
Yeah, Hayden just needs to be getting these orphan overworld locations that he's missed out on, and he's going to find his last sword there.
Currently, he is saving Old Myth, Griggle.
That's a thing now, isn't it? Everyone's
Yes.
calling Griggle Myth.
There is the Grip Ring. I did not see where the Karlov medal was, or was that from Griggle?
I did not see where the Karlov medal was. Ah, it was on Griggle.
Yes. Having both the Grip Ring and another Cloudtop Skinstone is very useful.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is going to get Hayden to go over to Vale Falls now and start making the way up Cloud Tops.
Nesma apparently deciding to not save and risking a horrible and minuscule chance of falling way behind.
Yes, this room has a very small chance that you will get a crash, which is very unfortunate.
We don't know
It's
why
happened
it
to a few
happens.
of our races in the middle of a race.
We don't know why it happens, nor how to make it, nor any consistency to it. But it's happened twice, I think.
Nesman is going to head into the Octo boss fight and experience the nature of true RNG.
So, Octo, the first, has 3 phases, and the first 2 are completely scripted. The third, however, he can either do 0, 1, or 2 inks that fill the room, and nobody wants an ink. It takes up so much time.
Nesman's probably wishing right now that they have the shields to be able to do this fight. As there's a There's a small probability that when you're slashing your sword to hit one of the rocks back, that it just doesn't get knocked back. Whereas if you have your shield out, it always knocks back the rocks that he fires.
I thought Nesma did, because there was a shield in the Tingle Trees.
Right, I guess Nesman's just crazy.
It's menuing. No one wants to do menuing.
Yeah, who wants to go for the safe strategy when you can completely risk it? Hayden is unsure of where to go next. Quite a few options available to them.
He's doing Coco Game. I did not see where he got his bomb bag then.
Also, if you have the shield out in this fight, whilst you've got some downtime, you can mash it super quickly and make Link look like he's vibrating.
Nesma getting his first element at round 36-30.
Hayden is very upset with Andrew right now.
I don't know if Nesma has it. Okay, yes, they both do. Both of our racers have remote bombs, which are very useful and I believe exclusive to, well, almost exclusive to Minish Cap. While not required, racers really enjoy having them as it speeds up many times you have to use bombs.
It's also really consistent as well, so certain areas can be quite difficult if you're having to try time the bombs to explode at a certain time, whereas if you got the remote bombs, you can just press the button whenever you...
Hayden very mad at now getting his sword, and Nesma saving Greggle, so he got the Karlov medal and now the grip ring. Our racers currently have 3 major locations they could go to. Nesma is choosing to go to Mount Krennel, it seems. Meanwhile, Hayden is heading back to Droplets.
I think Nesman is slightly unfortunate here getting the bottle, because the bottle has just opened up a load of locations here in Mount Krennel, but it could be that there's nothing up here and they're just wasting their time.
No, remote bombs is actually originally in Minish Cap, though you could only get them after you had gotten the Force Sword.
Yeah, the remote bombs are available once you have reached about the halfway point in the game, and then you can do a fusion with Gentari, the Elder in Minish Woods, and then you get to talk to Bellari a second time, and he'll switch your bombs for your regular bombs for remote bombs, and back whenever you go and talk to.
I believe it's actually at the end of the game, from what I recall. It's a very complicated process. You have to go to Minish Village. Oh! There is Nesma now finding the Jabbernut, which gives him access to Deepwood Shrine.
Yeah, the mirror shield is the only item that requires you to already have beaten Vati to acquire, because then you need to also do the entire Goron quest and pick up the go and talk to the big Goron and get the mirror shield.
So Mount Colonel was completely required.
Yes, both the flippers and the Jabbernut up here. The bottle was in a visible location. Where was it again?
It was over in Vale Falls.
Oh yes, it was at the bottom of Vale Falls. Hayden would have gone over there, but decided to head off into a couple of other directions.
Nesman choosing to just get straight to Deepwood, not even finish going through Krenel.
I agree with that from Nesman. Yeah, head straight into Deepwood Shrine. There's lots of items there. There's lots of stuff available for you to do that's required.
Oh look, a bottle-locked bottle. And another Cloudtop's Kinstone. If I was in Nesma's position, I would have at least gone up to the Cave of Flames warp and gotten that, just in case I had to return.
Oh, Nesman has the grip ring, so leaving Mount Colonel at that stage, he would still have to do it. I don't think it would have saved any time.
Yeah, you're right, because he doesn't have canes, so he has to take the long way around.
Okay, Nesman has 3 bottles now. That was 2 bottles right next to each other.
Will we see the 4th bottle?
If Nesman had the cane at the moment, it would have probably been a good idea to go up to where Cave of Flames is and activated the warp there, but without the cane you have to go through the long way round all to the top of Mount Krenel, which takes like 10 minutes, so it's not a good idea. Yeah, and Nesman's showing off some thing in Minish Woods. You don't need to go into Gentari's house if you're entering from the left-hand side. There's a very small path that you can run down and don't have to do any screen transitions.
Hayden is making me a little worried, being only at 1/4 of a heart.
Luckily, there are lots of pots here with respawnable hearts, so he's gonna stock up before going into this fight.
And we can see Nesman demonstrating something I didn't know, is that bombs can clear dust.
Being able to use the lantern and Deepwood Shrine to clear these puzzles is just so satisfying.
I did not see if they gained Rockbreaker. I know they have Roll Attack, I believe. Ooh, Nisman choosing to go to the basement and check the boss key chest.
With the key count that he has now, this is not bad routing. It's
Yeah.
you can, with the cape, you can just jump straight over here and then jump back and get on your lily pad. Move. Oh, he opts for a quick warp here. Okay, this is interesting. How many smokes for that for Hayden? It looks like it was 2 smokes.
Oh. Okay, no, it was only one for him. There is the on-one key, one of the most useless progression items.
Yes, Lon key is only useful in one location, but there are 3 other options that you can items that you can use to ignore it, which makes it very useful. Oh yes, Arrow brings up the point of milk. So you do need the Lon key to be able to get the Lon milk from Malon in town.
Though I don't recall the last time anyone ever actually bought milk.
Arrow likes getting milk whenever they've had to use Lon key. So in the vanilla game, you get to the Lon key, which is the spare key in the farm, and you give it to Talon to be able to open Lon branch. I believe the milk fully restores all of your hearts, or it restores at least 8 hearts. And it's got 2 doses, so you drink it once and it goes down to half, and then you drink it again. So you get 2 uses out of it.
It's interesting. Hayden is choosing to go to Western Wood.
Yes, I like this by Hayden. Castle Wilds is likely to have something important, so there are loads of checks over here, and getting over here and getting these checks done is a good idea.
He did find Great Spin, which, while not required, there are several places it helps speed up, including fighting the last boss.
Yeah, Nesman's showing off how to do the green shoe quickly. You can, if you're timing your gust sucks properly, then you can shorten that last cycle where it's jumping around like crazy. And we just got a vanilla butterfly floating around in Castle Wilds.
I don't know if that is the actual vanilla location for that one.
Hayden getting a pretty decent Darknet fight there, getting a chance to use a roll attack on them as well, killing them extra fast.
Yes, no one cares. It's a butterfly at a butterfly place. For those who don't know, the butterflies all speed up actions. One speeds up the rate at which you can fire the bow, one speeds up the rate at which you dig, and one speeds up your swimming. And I believe having the swimming butterfly while a Minish is the fastest rate of travel.
Yeah, funnily enough, swimming is actually the same speed whether you're big or small. It's exactly the same, but because you're Minish, it looks like you're going much faster. But actually, yeah. Actually!
Oh, because Hayden does not have flippers, he will not go hiking. And none of them... I don't think either of them has checked the underground of school.
Yeah, the basement in the school is another check that you don't want to be putting off for too long. It doesn't take that long to go, and especially now that there's a guaranteed bomb drop, it's not too difficult to go through there either. So as soon as you get bombs, you want to be going there and checking it out.
Nesma decided to go back to the mountain and finding another one of the spin attacks. Spin attacks, I
So
believe,
that
are
was
progressive in
great
this
spin
game.
for Nesman, and Hayden picked up great spin in Western Woods. Are they playing on the same seed? That's just one of the peculiarities of the progression system for spin attack, as the spin attack can be picked up from any one of the spin related scrolls, and then it changes the progression of which one will give you great spin attack at that point. And also fast split charge as well. That is the other scroll. But yeah, it's all of those other.
It seems Nesma briefly forgot to talk to Greyblade. And oh, Hayden already has 7 scrolls.
Yeah, Nesmond didn't want to be losing rupees, so they left to get rid of the ghost.
I don't believe there was anything in the shop.
There's a luxury boomerang for Nesman. It's going to be useful later on, getting free fairies off of several locations in Dark Hyrule Castle and in Palace of Wood.
Here is the one of the great fairies. In this case, you have to throw a bomb in, or you glitch it with a bottle, because that works for some reason. Oh yes, all of these fairies don't care what's happening anymore. It's been changed so that you can completely lie to them, and they'll say you're extremely honest.
I feel like Hayden's play right now is they have to go up Vale Falls and up to Cloud Tops. It's the next location that has a sizable amount of items there.
Yes, they have. The only things they really need to climb is the grip ring and Veilfall's Kinstone, though logically the lamp is required. But logic's only a suggestion.
Oh, and Hayden's just seen his first bottle. Is that going to force him to go over to Cave of Flames and Mount Crenel, or is he going to go up Vale Falls? It looks like they're going to go up Vale Falls, so we're going to be seeing our races diverge here quite a lot.
And Vale Falls has the first bottle. You cannot get any other bottle without it then. We just saw Nesma find the fourth one. Or was that dog food?
Yeah, Nesman just picked up dog food in the rain
Oh.
check.
That was not a good screen to try to find it on. It was very hard to tell.
So the dog food bottle isn't actually a regular bottle, it's a fetch quest item in this. You take it to the dog that is in the house in Lake Hylia, and you'll get an item from the dog.
Yes. And there is the second book from what we've seen. Hopefully we will see the red book along with the cane.
It'll be quite interesting once we get a beatable logic in place, so that things like the books could be on Yellowish themselves, so we wouldn't have to be checking as many of these locations. It would be really nice to have flippers in a flippers locked spot, and just forcing you to go for an entire seed without having to use the flippers.
Unfortunately, Kane could not be on Glee Rock because Kane is always required to beat the game.
Yeah, as Kane is needed in the Vati fight, it will be impossible to lock the Kane behind itself.
However, a lamp could be unattainable. If we wanted to
Do we really want to do that? just think for a moment here.
I mean, it would make seeds worse, so I approve. And that is another Cloudtop's Kinstone. It's interesting.
Actually,
Continue.
I'm not sure, because Palace of Winds, Royal Crypt, and Templar Droplets all require the lantern.
Well, you are right. Just remove the lantern from dark rooms. That's all you need to do. Then Palace of Winds.
I
can
guess
be done
then that will make Palace of Winds not require the lantern.
Perfect.
So, depending on what Hayden gets over here, it does look like Nesman is currently in the lead. But it can go either way at this point still.
And Nesman now at 10 hearts, so you can also get Waveblade's item. Was that a fetch quest into a fetch quest?
Oh my god, it's a fetch quest into a fetch quest. So now it's head back to town and give the mushroom to Rem in the shoe shop and figure out what he's got.
It seems Nesman is choosing to not listen to logic at all, and to go and do some boot checks without the boots.
So for those who aren't aware, we do have a poll at the moment in our Discord that is discussing certain logic choices that we have available. So one of the choices is this: what Nesman is doing right now, jumping off of that ledge, is that a sequence break or not? And Well, we've had about 25 people enter their opinion in the poll so far. But yes, the poll is now closed, and I will be releasing the results of the poll after this race. Yes, I wasn't around at the beginning of the race for checking what the items were in the shop, but I do believe that it's all junk in there.
It's almost always all junk, except for one race we had where it mattered a lot.
I believe that was our first race. It had a grip ring on the most expensive item.
And nothing is wrong with that tree. Ignore him going into it and all that. That's... And there's also a moblin that's...
I love it when the moblins do that.
Everyone likes being in trees today. Hayden now going to Krenel. He should be catching up in a little bit with items.
So where is our progression from this point? Because Nesman's gone and cleared Mount Krenel, and Hayden's gone and done Vale Falls, and, well, they still don't know where to go. Yeah, the seed is still completely in the dark. We don't know where the progression is. So if Hayden comes across progression first, they're going to be in the lead, and we'll be overtaking Nesman.
It is entirely possible that they may need to go into Cave of Flames at this point. Or we could have the fetch quest into a fetch quest matter.
If he gets the Tingle Trophy here.
No, we have not seen Swiftblade 2 and 4, and that is another wallet.
Nesman needs to be heading over to Castor Wilds and Western Wood. That's the one spot he hasn't gone to yet. Oh, Hayden's already gone up Vale Falls, but without the flippers. So getting the flippers here means that he can go back to Vale Falls and check the item that's inside of the waterfall. And also go over to Castor Wilds. Oh no, that can't be done yet because he doesn't have the bow.
They can go hiking, though.
Yes, they can go hiking. I was thinking of the waterfall in Castor Wilds, but there are other flipper spots in Castor Wilds that do require the flippers. Nesman's taking a gamble of going into the fountain in town.
And I believe... I didn't see anyone pick it up, but there were power bracelets you could see in Deepwood. I don't know if those were real or not.
I'm sure Nesman would have gone and picked them up if they were real.
So, power bracelets are very interesting for logic, as they only lock 3 items, and we already know one is a trap.
We still have so many required items left to get. We still have we have to get the cane, we have to get the mitts, the bow, Pegasus boots, graveyard key, another Cloudtop's kinstone as well, and then we'll be able to be in go mode, as well as 2 more swords. There's still so much available that needs to be picked.
Nesmond thinking about where to go. It looks like he's going to go into Cave of Flames. Yes, we are
At the
missing
rate they're
7
going right
items.
now, it does look like that Cave of Flames is going to have some regression.
It will be interesting to see if this is a seed where moments are not required.
Yeah, you're right. That there is nothing in Deeper Shrine. Sorry, not in Deeper Shrine. In Dark Hyrule Castle that requires the mitts. Nesmond opting for the just running at them and blowing up remote bomb strategy with those Helmasaurs.
I mean, with remote bombs, it definitely speeds things up.
It will be a good idea using the remote bombs when fighting the Spiky Chews as the mini boss of this dungeon.
So, of the dungeons, Cave of Flames is one of the most linear, and that is the 3rd book. I don't recall if Nesmond picked up the green one. I know we saw someone pick up the green one, though.
The green one was up in Vale Falls, I believe. Hayden picked that up, so we don't have a racer with 3 books yet, but we do know where all 3 books are.
However, that check still can't be obtained because you need to have Kane. I hope he has the 4 sword. Speaking of Kane.
Ooh, French Vanilla Cane! Nesmond is not happy about that. Okay, Dax, you're banned from rolling seeds.
Last time I did a seed, the Kane was vanilla. So this is an improvement.
Yeah, so our racers are guaranteed to have to go into Cave of Flames at least once to be picking up the cane. Let's see if Gleerock has an item, or maybe Malari has an item.
I think Nesmond's probably going to do this and the following chest, and then get the warp and leave. And yes, that was the magical boomerang, which is... I think the difference is you can control it and it has a longer range.
Yep, that's the difference between the magic boomerang and the regular boomerang.
It's my favorite scroll, Herald Beam.
We're only just over an hour in, and it looks like our race is getting pretty much all of the scrolls. I think there are 9 or 10 scrolls. Oh, Hayden's diving into Deepwood Shrine without picking up the cane in Cave of Flame.
Well, he got the warp for for Mount Crennel, correct?
Yes, that's what he did. He's
Okay.
he got that warp, and now he's going to go check and finish off the rest of Minish Woods.
So he won't be too far behind.
To be honest, he did just pick up the flippers and the jabbernuts, so it's completely the right choice to be doing this right now.
So that was a caster kinstone that Hayden picked up, and I believe Nesmond also picked that one up. So I think Nesmond actually only has 3 cloud tops.
Oh, so we're still looking for 2 Cave of Flames kinstones. Cave of Flames? Cloud tops kinstones.
There is the moment.
Oh, moments, yes. So, Cave of Flames, yeah, is completely loaded. There's so much stuff in here.
Now, I'm very interested to see if the moments will have been required, or if he could have left after getting the cane. I'm sure after this, Nesmond will immediately go to Lake Hylia.
Oh, definitely. There are so many overworld locations that require the mids. It's such a big item to be picking up.
He's going to fight Gleerock.
Yeah, picking up the compass there, he now knows that Gleerock is guaranteed to have 2 items here, so he's going to be heading in there to get the... Yes, your compensation for not getting an element at the end of a non-required dungeon is that you do get 2 items, so it can be worth it in some situations.
And in the case of the Cave of Flames, it also leads to another item. Once you complete the dungeon, you go talk to Malari, who normally would give you the white sword, but in this case, just another item. Oh yes, Myth. What's that on the wall?
Yeah, I'm seeing there's something on the wall in the Gleerock fight. I just can't quite make it out. It looks like an image of Gleerock himself. Yes, it's quite fun to see the variety of items that Malari likes to craft in his forge and give to you. A lot of the time it's like, oh, I've crafted some arrows for you.
I love it when he crafts you any kind of trap.
Oh, Nesmond being unfortunate here with Gleerock getting hit by these fireballs.
Yes, Malari the Rupee Forger. A very sacred 5 arrows found by Nesmond. Excuse me for a second.
Yeah, Yes, we've had it before where we've had 5 arrows here, 5 rupees also on Glee Rock, and then 5 bombs on Malari, or some other combination of that. And it's all of the 5 value trash items were in these locations. Now let's see what Malari's going to give us. And it's some love. Not important though, because Nesman already has more than 10 hearts now. He's got 11 in fact. Oh, I remember a very long time ago we had a seed which had a non-required Cave of Flames, but Malari had the Force Sword, and that was not a fun seed to be playing on either. Oh, Hayden showing us off the 1 cycle Caterpillar fight. If you have the green sword or greater with the great spin attack, you can finish the fight in 1 cycle by great spinning on his tail. Oh, and Nesman picks up the bow! That is another important item. He has got the D.
Oh, the bow. How interesting.
So that has opened up quite a few locations in Castle Wilds, and oh my god, the other one was right there!
So mitts were required.
Nesman was not happy about that, dropping a bunch of bombs on the chest to make his point clear.
This has been a very interesting seed. And another scroll.
Yeah, all of this progress Nesman is making it look quite dire for Hayden. He's gonna have to be heading up to Cave of Flames soon if he wants to be catching up.
We do know, though, however, that most of what Nesman is about to go through has pretty much nothing, though having the bow gives him a few more checks in Castor Wilds than Hayden had.
He also has the flippers going into Castor Wilds for the first time, which Hayden did not, so he's going to be spending a lot longer in Castor Wilds full clearing everything.
For this seed, the boots are required, as Royal Crypt, you can only get the Royal Crypt by dashing into the tree to get your graveyard key back, and you need boots to do so. Oh yes, he can do all of Castor because he has the mitts as well. Did Nesman go to Lake Hylia while I was gone?
No, he did not. He was getting the stuff from Malari and has headed straight for Castor Wilds after doing that.
Interesting.
Now we know Hayden is quite a reckless player and decides to go for some risky options, so this is not over yet. He can still go for some crazy gambles and catch up at any point. So the boots are not required to full clear Castor Wilds because it's only required to do traversal to be able to get across the swampy sections, but with the cape also provides that access as well, because you can use the cape to be jumping through the swamp, which is what Nesman's doing right now.
And Nesmond getting a really nice Dark Note fight.
Yeah, anytime you get to use a roll attack into the back of a Dark Nut once they've done their dash attack, it's a very quick fight.
I would agree that Nesmond's lead just seems to keep getting larger and larger, though.
Yeah, we never know. The yellow Minish could have some progression at this point, like the boots, as we are in logic to be getting yellow Minish at this point. We know where all the books are, but our racers only have 2 each. They just need to be going and picking up their third ones, which the other racer...
Yes, Yalari. The best Minish.
Yelari, assistant to Librari.
Not to be mistaken with Molari, the Mind Minish. Or Fistari. Oh. Was that a Castor or a Cloudtop Kinstone?
The stream lagged just as it appeared on screen, so I didn't quite catch it either.
That,
oh, and there's 2
was a Castor.
Kinstones back to back. He is only missing 1 Kinstone from having all of them at this point, but which one is it? I think we'll know if Nesmond decides to open up ruins or not. If Nesmond does have all the caster kinstones, he would definitely be opening up the wind ruins right now. If he doesn't, that means he has all of the Cloudtop's kinstones, so we'll be able to tell that.
That chest on the right was just some rupees.
Oh yes, that's right. We're missing 2 kinstones right now. Hey, thank you, 01, going and checking those spots. So, Nesmond does have 3 Caster Wild Kinstones, which is all of the ones that are required to go through this area and go to the Wind Ruins, which is the next area.
Yes. He can now, and with that, he can go full clear all of the Wind Ruins along with Fortress of Wind, or as we very frequently call it, Fortress of Go mode.
Yes, I'll definitely be putting money on some form of progression being in Fortress of Winds at the moment. Most likely, a sword, at least 1 sword.
We don't necessarily have all dungeons. Normally all dungeons means clearing all dungeons. And I believe there was nothing behind killing Gluerock, so... And now Nesmond
Yes, and the other Zelda randomizers having the the non-required dungeons normally have some other collectible, like the pendants in A Link to the Past or the stones in Ocarina of Time, and those in turn open up other locations, so you do get all dungeon seeds quite often. Whereas this, because there is nothing like that, you just need to gamble on there being a required item on the boss itself for there to be an all dungeon seed.
Though some dungeons, I believe, it is Deepwood and Fortress, could be logically all dungeons because a key can be on the boss. Though with Gleerock being a bust, it's confirmed to not be.
Yep, we will not be knowing whether or not that wallet was fake, as there is no need to be picking up wallets at this point. There is nothing in the shop to need a bigger rupee wallet. Yes, getting the cane and the mitts from Cave of Flames means that there are a lot of items available in Castletown now. Lots of stuff in the library and the in the school from the cane, and also in the underground with the mitt.
Hayden checking to make sure that book was fake.
Yes, Hayden seeing that blue book and going, hang on, I think I've seen you already.
Hayden choosing to check Blue Chew, from what I can tell. And
this is quite a gamble for Hayden. Oh no, Hayden's going to pick up the small key that's in the underwater.
He doesn't realize it's confirmed a small key. Oh no. That just gives Nesmond an even further lead. And Nesmond just charging through.
Yeah, Nesmond does not care at this point. They have enough hearts to be just blowing themselves up on these rocks.
Which really, if I was in Nesmond's position, I wouldn't have checked that chest. Being only one sword from being able to check it without going through that way, it can save some time. There was our Boaterfly.
The Boaterfly being quite an important item. Not necessarily required, but helping a lot with the bow usage in the later parts of the game.
Though, if you're good, you can do dash canceling to speed up the bow.
Oh, Hayden getting unfortunate with the waterfall up in Vale Falls.
I notice Hayden is very much to averting going to Cave of Flames, even when it's required.
Oh, Hayden's going to check Greyblade now, because has Hayden already gone to Greyblade? Possibly not.
Don't believe so.
is getting the Deku Scrub here and heading up into Grey Blade. Let's check that out. Hopefully the trap he gets here won't hurt him too much.
I'm surprised Nesmond chose to not stay in Wind Ruins.
Yes, what made him bail immediately? He surely didn't pick up anything that important.
I think it was just picking up the first item and checking the first two items there and leaving.
Some of us older racers have been very much scorned by leaving Wind Ruins too early. If you decide to go to Wind Ruins, you really should be staying and full clearing the entire thing because it takes so long to go back there.
Even with the Ocarina, it can still take a while, as you have to work to Caster and go from there. Yes, still no check on Hylia's caves.
I wonder if Nesmond will be doing that now that he's here in the bottom of Vale Falls, or if he's going to decide to actually head up Vale Falls now.
He's heading back to Wind Ruins.
I think I telepathically sent him a message and he received it. He's heading back into Wind Ruins.
Yes. Oh yes, something you may find interesting. I recently figured out how many checks were in Minish Cap, or at least for the race settings. We have 262 locations.
262 locations for the race setting. That's quite a chunky amount.
And that,
do we know how many there are in A Link to the Past? I feel like it's like 216 or something like that. So we've got about 50 more, I think.
Yes. Note that 262 does include the boss key in Dark Hyrule Castle, as well as the two droplet items that are vanilla.
It would be nice if we could get a counter for the in the randomizer. So during the end credits, we get a count which shows how many items were collected out of the total.
Hayden has all 3 books, but he does not have his cane yet. He should be getting it very soon, though.
Something new I learned with this fight that Nesmond's doing here is the remote bombs kill these Armor Knights in one hit, so that can make those fights very easy and very quick.
I will have to keep that in mind for future races.
Also, something 01 showed me with the piranha fights. If you stand still on the edge of the arena, the piranhas will just jump off the edge and kill themselves, which is a great way to do the fight. Which also lets you do the fight without actually having a sword. Or any weapon, in fact. Nesmond
Nesmond
is
is
setting
saving
a
time.
quick warp in Fortress of Winds. He is going to be. He purposely skipped out these two Minish checks here, so he can go and pick them up. And as soon as he's got those items, he can do a quick warp. It'll put him right back in Fortress of Winds. He's not going to have to backtrack as a Minish to regrow himself.
And we see him loving another fetch quest item. Zero one. You logically, to do those, you need bombs, the Veilfall's Kinstone, the grip ring, and a lamp. And then, depending on your settings, you may need a sword. I have once had a seed where that was my first sword, and it was awful.
I'm having a few issues viewing the stream right now, so I'll be back shortly.
I'm very interested to see if Hayden will leave after getting the mitts. And here we can see the only real use of the light arrows is to one-shot Igors.
The other use of the light arrows is it can also break certain items like the pots and the small trees at the beginning of the game. That is built into the logic though, so I've never seen it, but it could be that the first progressive item you get is 2 bows, and then that gives you access to Minish Woods, which will then have your progression from that point.
That sounds awful.
That sounds like something someone would put into a Plando.
And your Plando gets worse. But if you do that, you can't have Peril Beam lock the bridge in Mount Colonel. It makes sense to go straight to the boss here. It seems pretty likely that the boss will have a small key. But no, Fortress of Winds is not required.
Yeah, it's quite common to see people going straight for the boss whenever they have the access to it here in Cave of Flame, in Fortress of Winds. But yes, it is not required, so it can be an option whether or not you choose to go and fight the boss at this point. And we're seeing double boss fights here. Nesmond fighting Mazal and Hayden fighting Leroy.
Very important question, P-Myth. So, on Hayden's stream, is there anything notable about those walls?
Oh yeah, I think I noticed something before. What was it? I can't quite remember what it was. Was
I
it?
believe it was an overused
Oh yeah,
joke.
look. Yeah, it's an overused joke. That's what that is.
Obviously, it's out of hand. It's on the walls. Nothing
What did
on
Nesmond
top.
just get on the boss? Was that
A heart
was
piece
that an
and 5
important
bombs.
item?
Yes, it was a small key on the drop down.
Yeah, can we rename Zephyr Drop to Amazon Delivery? Yeah, this is definitely turning out to be a 3-hour seed at this point. We're 1 hour 40 and we're still many items away from go mode at this point.
This is very unusual. It's pretty frequent to see people hit go mode at like a minute 50, and we're not even close to that. Exactly. More bottles is the best way to go. There is a Cloud Top Skin Stone in Fortress of Winds.
Nesmond was really excited about getting that Kinstone. He didn't think to turn into a Minish first and go and get that key that's over on the right hand side.
There is a chance, though, that he might just save scum that key. We do know there is a key through the right path.
Oh, he doesn't save the key.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is going to hurt Nesmond if he doesn't get anything decent over on this left-hand side.
Hayden about to get his 2 bows. There is a
Let's have a
sword.
look at what Hayden's reaction is to getting that second bow.
There was Nesmond's blue sword.
Yeah, Nesmond not happy finding that blue sword there, but and that's put both Cave of Flames and Fortress of Winds having required items in the dungeon.
2 required items in each dungeon. This is a terrible seed, and I am so proud to have rolled it. Cave of Flames had the moments and the cane. And the moments were required to get a kinstone. And also just do the dungeon. Or do this dungeon for your other items. And he noticed he's missing the key.
And there is another key guaranteed in that key drop after the key that he needs now before going to that last. He's opting to leave the dungeon. Has he? Did we see both the compass and the map, or is one of those?
I did not keep track.
If one of those is missing, then it's guaranteed to be on that spot, so he's making the correct decision to leave at this point.
Yes, I know we did have the map.
So if we haven't seen the compass, which I didn't see, then it could be there. Well, it would have to be there if he doesn't have the compass.
He did get both.
Oh, he did have both, which means that he is making a gamble at this point.
Which means that is where the Force Sword will be, because the seed hates everybody.
So we are 4 items away from go mode. We are looking for the boots, the graveyard key, the last kinstone, and the last sword. Once we have those 4 items, then we are in go mode and our racers will be rushing to beat the final boss.
I have a very strange feeling that boots or the graveyard key will be in the graveyard. The best seed I have ever seen involving Dompe gave Dompe the Karlov medal and put the graveyard key as the visible item in the figurine house.
That is amazing. Wow.
Desmond getting the last book.
Yes, we haven't seen the Tingle Trophy yet, have we?
We have not seen the Tingle Trophy get turned in, and we have not seen the books get turned in. But the Tingle Trophy was somewhere. I know we've seen it.
Was it right at the beginning? Because I haven't seen it at all.
No, it was something turned in for... I will check in a second. Oh, it was when he... It was the Wind Ruins, the first of the 2 Minish checks.
Oh, right. In the Minish house. That's right.
From Nesmond's point of view, coming up to Cloud Tops right now seems like a very, very good idea. Because it's not uncommon to find a Cloud Tops Kinstone up in Cloud Tops.
Yes, absolutely. And we have 3 chests here which we don't know the contents of, which are the ones that are behind some diggable clouds, as when Hayden came up here, he didn't have the mitts. So unfortunately, there's been junk in those two mid spots here. So we got one last chest that could have something important here. If not, it's very likely that there's going to be something in the Hylia Cave, the treasure cave there, as we've yet to see
one's
anyone
gone to
go
check
into
it.
there, and there are 11 checks.
It is very strange having not seen anyone check it.
Yeah, it's absolutely the most item-dense location right now. And it's a single validation rupee for Nesman. So, Cloudtops is a bust.
Hopefully Hayden will end up getting all the keys here so we can see what's behind the what's in the boss key chest here.
Yes, if it's a required item, that's going to be a massive blow to Nesman, because they're going to have to go all the way back to Fortress of Winds to be able to get their go mode.
And I'm sure Nesman will, at this point, probably last location that. Just, there's no, you don't want to go back and check that item after how long of a trek it will be. Nesman, finally going to check the most valuable cave in almost every run.
This surely has progression at this point. There is not much left outside of this cave.
Boots! If either of our runners had checked this cave earlier, they would have been in a much greater lead.
Ooh, Nesman having to fight off this ghost while going through this cave. This is probably one of the worst spots to be getting this. Though I don't think he cares much about his rupees at this point.
Really, it's just an annoying sound. Hayden, remembering to become a Minish for the key.
Yes, at this point the rupees are useless. They're only required to buy 3 items in the overworld and to buy items in the shop. And we've seen all of these locations and they don't have anything important. So rupees are completely unnecessary at this point.
Ooh, the worst trap in the game.
Ooh, the curse trap. Yeah, having to wait around with the curse trap just to be rewarded with a bloopy is not a nice feeling.
I wonder how long until one of them goes to check the best Minish in the game.
Yeah, everything in the library is in logic right now, and I don't think we've even seen in the basement of the library at this point. So
Nesmond has gone there.
Oh right, Nesmond's gone to the basement.
It was junk in both chests. Yes, the underground pillar is in logic. For Nesmond. And soon to be Hayden. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the best part of Fortress of Winds. Those drop-downs have very unique interactions with traps.
Yeah, so the image that a trap looks like is completely determined by the room number. So as the trap falls through the various different floors, it moves between different rooms, and that changes the image of the trap as it's falling down, and it makes it very obvious whether or not an item is a trap or.
Apparently that has been fixed, though I have not seen if it's been fixed or not yet. And Tingle only having a heart container. Nesmond has almost every heart. So, the randomizer has the option to shuffle traps, and because kinstones don't matter, they get replaced with different items, and shuffle traps adds traps, which are just bad effects when you open a chest. Hayden picking up his blue sword.
Yeah, Hayden doesn't have time to react to that, just get a move on.
And the pillar turned out to be a waste of time.
So in this randomizer, unlike the Ocarina of Time, the quiver and the bow are completely separate items. Because the bow upgrades into the light arrows, there are two bows in logic. Whereas the quivers are a completely separate item and completely just act as in the for upgrading the capacity of the bow. However, there is no reason why you need more than 30 bows, the 30 arrows in this game. So
30 bows.
Yeah, 30 bows.
And here we're going to soon see if the most important Minish in the game has an item. I am disappointed.
My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined.
I thought I rolled the seed, but apparently I did not. The fourth bottle! So, something we should mention. There's a small soft lock that can happen from Swiftblade that is very easily avoidable.
Has that been fixed?
No, I don't think it's been fixed, because it was only a recent issue. You just don't press a button, and it doesn't break. And it's only when you're learning Rock Breaker. So, for a brief second, that's a Force Sword. But the soft lock is that for a brief second, you can pick up a pot when learning Rock Breaker. Well, if you pick up the pot, you're soft locked.
And we see Hayden's going into the skull drop now, and we're going to see what
It
item
was the compass.
Nesmond's missing out on. And it was the compass. So Nesmond looked at his map and realized, oh, the compass is there, so I don't need to go and get that item. So Nesmond wasn't gambling, he knew exactly what he was doing. Nesmond is now 2 items away from go mode. All he requires is the graveyard key and the last kinstone, and then he can go and clear all of the dungeons.
A vanilla Great Fairy? What is this? That was the graveyard key.
Oh, that is a French vanilla graveyard key. 1 item away from being vanilla.
That is mean. You know, that makes up for Yolari being a disappointment.
We could see the last kinstone here in the graveyard as well, which would be pretty much deciding the race at this point.
Don't mind the flying arrows. I feel like the last kinstone will be in the back of School Garden.
Yes, if you are not in go mode by the time you have the Force Sword, then it's very likely that your go mode is going to be in the School Garden, which requires having the Force Sword to create enough clones.
Two keys at the beginning is not what Nesmond wants to see. Since he's only 1 item away, he'd rather have that item be confirmed at the beginning than having to do both sides anyway. It's a little weird. And that was the dungeon. I'm sure it was very long. You'll understand how complicated that was.
Yeah, Royal Crypt isn't a very long dungeon, but it does have a lot of requirements to reach it, so can have some things really late into the. Yeah, Nesmond is heading directly to the school garden. When you have the Force at this point, you go directly here and check what's here.
I'm trying to think of where this item could be at this point. Oh! No one has checked the cave on Mount Krenel.
Yes, I was just thinking about that. There's the orphan check right at the top of Mount Krenel that requires the mitts. When our racers went there earlier in this race, they did not have the mitts at that. Nesmond is also checking the last spot in the fountain. He did not have the cane, so could not check the spot earlier. Have any of our racers done Blue Chew?
I don't think Hayden went to fight Blue Chew when he went back into Droplets. There is the Kinstone.
And Nesmond is in go mode. He has everything he needs to beat the game at this point, and now it's just down to execution.
From how it looks, this is likely Nesmond's win. I'd estimate 242.
Yeah, having to do all of Palace of Winds and all of Dark Hyrule Castle is going to take about 13 minutes from this point.
Yes. Palace of Winds is very nice to go mode, but it also can be awful to go mode. The boss key can be in some pretty nasty spots. Hayden very upset with that quiver. Oh dear.
Yeah, Hayden needs to get a move on and go to Lake Hylia and get into the treasure cave there. There's so many items there, and one of them is his boot.
It's so strange seeing the runners put it off for so long. Ah yes, Moblin and Percy was never checked.
Moblin and Percy sounds like a weird sitcom.
Yeah. I hate that you're right about that.
Moblin and Percy, Purslin and Moblin. Do 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 do. There's the jingle.
Is it all about poetry and blue shells? And here we get to see the best part of the run, the cane skip.
And Nesmond gets it first try. Nice.
Weren't you struggling with that the other day?
Yes, a little bit. I did happen to fail that trick 6 times in a row. When you fail it the first time, it then becomes incredibly difficult for some reason. No, jumping with the cape is not glitch. It's not a glitch.
It's just a really weird oversight.
A similar discussion was made about the mushroom on Cave of Flame on Mount Crenel, whether using the gust jar to skip one of the climbing sections is a glitch or not, because you're grabbing a mushroom that's well above you. Again, similarly, that is also just an oversight by the developers. It's not a glitch. You're supposed to use the gust jar to suck mushrooms.
Nesmond? I think he forgot he had the Force Sword. And we're also getting more ideas for Moblin and Percy. I noticed Nesmond has all of the quivers.
Oh, Nesmond getting the worst spot you can get for the big key here in Palace of Winds, being on that drop spot there, which requires you to have to spend a lot of time going and doing that pot push puzzle.
Yes, it is. That does tell us the power bracelets were required. Not that, and you really had to go out of your way for them. Interesting call by Hayden. He chose to just leave after getting the boots.
Well, there's nothing else there for him, so it's quite the gamble. But we know Hayden is quite a reckless player that decides to go for these crazy gambles, and they do pay off quite a lot of the time for him, man.
And where was it again that we saw the Force Sword?
It was in Castle Courtyard.
Yeah.
It requires the boots.
So now he will go and full clear all of the graveyard and not find his sword or the Kidstone.
So the locations we're wanting Hayden to go is the Castle Courtyard, and then also into the fountain in town to be picking up his last Kinstone there as well.
Hopefully the former first. Because if he goes and gets that Kinstone, he will likely full clear Palace of Winds. Nesmond now just looking for one more key.
Yep, so Nesmond has picked up 4 small keys here in Palace of Winds, which is all of the small keys you need to go through all of the locked doors and get to the boss. Palace of Winds is by far the longest dungeon in the Minish cap, and it takes a very long time to full clear, as it's a very linear dungeon as well. It doesn't take too much longer to full clear the dungeon as it does to just get to the boss as quickly as possible, go moding the dungeon.
Yes, though you do save a decent amount of time right here at the end.
You also save a lot of time about halfway through, just before the first Dark Knight fight, where you can skip the top floor of the dungeon, where you would normally have to use 2 small keys.
Though you can get unlucky and have the big key be vanilla. Luckily, that does make the entire second half much faster.
I think the worst spot for the big key is on the chest just before that, where you have to go on the fan loop around.
Yeah.
Our logic does require the randomizer to make sure that you have 2 small keys by the time you get to the top floor, so that you don't have to progress through the dungeon a second time to be able to get back up to there, because that's just wastes so much time. Now, I know Nesmond's been practicing the boss rush rum hack quite a lot, so he's getting really fast at these bosses, and yeah, he's just making mincemeat out of Georg here.
Georg with the Force Sword is very fun, and since you don't have to view the eye patterns, it extremely just speeds up choosing, your formation. Oh, Hayden now going to check the Mitz chest up in Cloud Tops.
And Georg was no problem at all for Nesmond, and he's cleared this dungeon and is now finished the last dungeon. So he has all of the elements required to head over to Dark Hyrule Castle now.
And I'm noticing that the Force Sword is so beautiful on the tracker.
Oh yes, the icon for the Force Sword isn't quite the same as the icon that we used in game.
So very soon will be the only real point that Hayden could get any extra time on Nesmond, though their difference is too far to really change anything. But Nesman will have to choose which towers to go to, assuming he doesn't have to go to all 4.
For our viewers hanging out in chat that aren't fully aware of the goings on in the Randomizer Discord, WJG and Mike Sky are developers for this randomizer, so make sure to give them your thanks for making such a great randomizer here. And also, they're the people that you want to be talking to if you want to see stuff added to the randomizer as well. Oh, and we've got Hobo in chat as well, who is also another dev.
I'm sure the site will be made and working soon.
Oh yeah, Leo has done so much hacking in the for the game and writing assembly code to completely break the game and make it into the state so that we can randomize everything.
Yes, this game has so many story flags that he managed to just kind of rip apart.
And Hayden is finally in the Hylia Cape Cave and will be picking up the... Oh, he's already got his boots.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just diving back in here to get nothing.
He's going to learn he actually made a good call.
Yeah, if I was Hayden at this point, I wouldn't be thinking about the fountain at all. It would be one of the last locations to be getting.
We can already tell that Dark Tower Castle will not need all 4 towers. I believe the best case for Hayden would be it being 1 tower, and Nesma choosing incorrectly and doing it very poorly.
Nesman getting the regular bombs out to try and do the bomb strat, but it's a very difficult strategy, so he immediately abandons it and goes for the regular way to solve this.
I've actually been practicing using remote bombs on the ladder cannons just to speed it up a little.
Is there a consistent way of doing that?
It's learning consistent timing with animation. It's a little annoying, but after some practice, it's easy to get down.
I'm sure using the remote bombs is much easier than using the regular bombs.
Oh, it definitely is.
I think once a consistent strategy for that is nailed down, then a lot of the racers are going to be learning to do that, because this area this room that Nesman's doing right now, this is very inconsistent. Yeah, so those of you who are new to this and haven't seen the Minish Cap Randomizer before, we've got a Discord where you can find out more about the randomizer and keep up to date with all of the updates that are coming out for it, because this is still in development and we're planning quite a lot of stuff to be added. Do we have a link that we can put into chat? The randomizer Discord.
I do not know. Yeah, yes, up to date with all of the UDA updates.
Oh yeah, so UDA update has been making a load of custom Lewis scripts for the emulators, which lets you practice and do boss rush and a bunch of really cool things which help out quite a lot. Yay, thank you, Utopic Unicorns. There's a link to our Discord where you can get the latest for the link to the Minish Cap Randomizer and see when we're doing races and find out more.
And also learn of the awful possibilities that we have made for seeds. One fun setting we should mention is that, like other randos that have Oko, we have our own version that has a timer, and it's awful.
Yes, the timed Oko mode is quite fantastic with clocks that are thrown into the item pool that you have to collect to increase the time on your timer to stay out of Oko mode.
And many fun things, such as Avadi not caring that you got safeties because he'll eat them all.
Yes, Oko, one-hit KO mode.
I think nobody loves it because it's not balanced yet. Do you think Nesman will blow up that bomb anytime soon?
Oh, he's just realised.
Nesman messing up the quick kill on this Dark Nut.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Well.
That was a good recovery, though, getting fortunate with the dash attack there. So now Nesman is at the point of Dark Hyrule Castle where he has 4 options. The 4 corners of this dungeon have towers where a item can be found. And he needs to find 2 small keys, which are in one of these, in 2 of these 4 towers.
He's called one of the towers correct.
So he's just looking for 1 more small key at this point, and then he can go and get the boss key. Getting trolled quite hard by these dark nuts here.
Yes. I noticed a lot of people tend to have trouble with the fights with the two, and especially the one with the three of them.
Yeah, it's much easier to manipulate the dark nuts into doing what you want if it's just one dark nut. But as soon as there are multiple dark nuts in a fight, then it becomes quite complicated.
I'm guessing either Hayden had to go take care of something, or he is thinking about what remains. I know you can get these 4 switches on one spin, but it's so difficult to align.
Yeah, Nesman's just out of alignment when he tried it the first time, but you watch the pixels and you make sure that Link's shadow is perfectly inside of the box on the ground, and then you can do a spin attack.
Ouch. Nesman have ended up doing all 4 towers.
Well, one of the things on the Minish Maker Discord is a custom tool that you can use to create anything you want using the Minish Cap engine. So if you want, you can create a fight with 8 Dark Nuts if you so wish.
I don't know why you would hate everyone else enough to make that, but feel free.
Oh, it has joined us here in chat. Has he forfeited from the IRC? Oh, hunger calls.
Hunger, the weakness to all.
Yes, thank you very much, Hayden, for participating in the race today. You did a great performance so far.
Yes. Unfortunately, today we only have 2 racers. Though I'm sure more will happen. It's just today was very forgotten about and a bit of a mess.
Yeah, we have not had a very good organization today. Many tech issues as well have made us start late in the first place. So,
what do you mean? We started.
And also, it doesn't help that it's in the middle of the holidays right now, so a lot of people are just not free this weekend.
From what I recall, we started on time. Definitely not 40 minutes late.
Yes, if you have any ideas of stuff that you want to do in the Minish Cap, you can use the Minish Maker tool to make that a reality.
It seems I'm getting an important phone call. I'll be back in a moment.
All these Dark Nuts are bullying Nesman, and he's getting hit by the spin attack that the Black Knight did, which is quite damaging. So Nesman's slightly for time here, as this Dark Nut fight is timed, and if you take too long, it will kick you out and game over. But he does make his way through the fight, and onto the Vati fights now. Oh, Key Sanity is very fun in this. The Dark Hyrule Castle big key and small keys get randomized into the whole pool, which makes Dark Hyrule Castle a much quicker dungeon to do. Right, Nesman is showing off some of the speed strats on Vati 1 here. Using the Gust Jar as he's charging up his third cycle lets you get rid of those purple orbs around him before he has a chance to do them. And then he does the Great Spin Attack on that last cycle, which lets him beat the fight in only 3 cycles. You have to use the Great Spin Attack or the Roll Attack to be able to get that 3 cycle. It's quite difficult to land. And Nesma's going to try and do the down strike strategy, but deciding to opt for the safer strategy of just creating clones here. If you can time a down strike with the cape attack, then you can hit all of those eyes in one hit. Yeah, so the randomizer has many other modes, and when you load up the randomizer executable file, you'll see that there's lots of settings that you can choose to spice up how you want to play the randomizer. One of them is Rupee Mania, which randomizes all of the freestanding rupees in the game. That is a very fun mode to play. So for this race, we've had open Kinstone fusions, which automatically activates all of the 100 Kinstone fusions in the game from the very beginning of the game, so you don't need to do all of the regular Kinstone fusions with the NPCs in the game, such as with the red and the green and the blue Kinstones. However, the gold Kinstones are still normal, and you have to find the golden Kinstones to be able to access those areas. So Nesman, unfortunately, not getting the 3 cycle there on Vati 2. On that last cycle, you need to charge a spin attack and turn around and do a single sword swipe to be able to get the 3 cycle, and unfortunately, he didn't quite get that. Yeah, he did a great spin attack, and you don't want to be doing a great spin attack on Vati 2 because you just keep on spinning on him and it's not doing any additional damage. And Nesman's moving on to Vati 3 at this point. Vati 3 is much easier than the other Vati fights. Yeah, he's doing an exploit here where you just stand on this shrink pad here, and Vati 3 is just unable to do any damage to you, and you can just sit there merrily waiting for him to progress his fight. He's got quite unfortunate with which arm Vati 3 decided to use there, meaning that he got hit quite. And a great performance there inside of the arm, charging up a great spin attack and managing to kill the specific eye inside that arm very quickly. And this last arm is going to be in the dark, and he will have to equip the lantern here to be able to see what's going on. You can, if you're very risky, decide to not use the lantern here and just great spin attack in the dark and hope for the best. Right, and we're now on to the final stage of the fight, and here he's going to equip the remote bombs, because the remote bombs actually let you do this fight much faster than if you were using the sword. So he immediately charges clones up and then goes to stand in front of Vati. Unfortunately, Vati was mean there and decided to do an electric attack. And this has thrown the fight into a weird cycle now, where he's having to dodge these attacks whenever possible. This is quite unfortunate, actually. Okay, he's got the hit off and he's thrown a remote bomb at Vati. So in this stage of Vati only has 2 hit points, which means that throwing a bomb and then detonating it is all you need to deal enough damage to progress this fight along. And then you can go in straight and charge some clones up and then get ready for the next cycle. The trick with Vati 3 here is that if you charge up your clones and stand directly in front of him, he's always going to do a blue orb cycle and throw blue orbs at you, so you can manipulate him into doing this at this point.
I have returned just to see Nesma kill Vati.
And GG's to Nesman for finishing in first place, with a time of 2 hours, 43 minutes and 35 seconds.
That was a very interesting seed. And Nesmond says that he cannot, he has to go real quick, he cannot give.
So here we've got the end screen for the randomizer. So we can see all of the items that Nesman has collected throughout the game. Pretty much nearly 100%ing this, only missing 2 hearts and 1 of the scrolls.
And 1 bomb bag. Don't forget that bomb bag.
Oh yeah, there's 1 bomb bag which upgrades from 50 to 99. Oh, and a wallet.
Yeah, small things.
Hey, and we have Nesman in chat. Thank you very much for racing today. And GG's on the win.
Thank you all for watching this wonderful race that was definitely not a horrible seed.
Yes, thank you, Dax, for rolling this seed. No one blame me for this one. It's all down to Dax for this one.
At some point, we'll all not be allowed to roll seeds.
Yeah, so thank you everyone here at Speed Gaming for getting us set up today. It was all quite a bit of a rush, but we got it all set up in the end, and we're all very grateful for getting the Minish Cap race.
Of course it had a myth touch to it. I'm just not British myth.
Also, thank you to WJG and also to Curry Chicken for doing the tracking for us today at quite short notice. So I can't quite see the speed gaming schedule, but we do have a lot of stuff that is being run tonight on speed gaming on some of the other channels, and I'm sure you guys are going to be heading over to there once we are done here. We're pretty much done at this point, so thank you everyone for joining in. Don't forget to check out the Minish Maker Discord to keep up with the Minish Cat Randomizer. Thank you to my co-host Dax for joining and helping me out with commentary here.
And thank you for Myth for helping out when we had some tech issues and also just when I had to go.
And don't forget to give some love to our racers, Hayden and Nesman. I don't know if we have links to their streams in chat. They do a lot of Minish Cap Randomizer content. Cool, we're going to leave it here. So thanks, everyone. And see you in the new year for the weeklies as they continue on the speed gaming, possibly at this time, maybe at another time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.